Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It is so wonderful to have you all here with us tonight, however you are joining us. Although here at Congregation Schaarai Zedek, we really do believe that however you're joining us, you are here in the sanctuary with us. I am Rabbi Weiss. I am joined on the bima tonight by Cantor Canizaro and Maria Laudet on the keys, creating beautiful music for us. And we are so grateful to have you joining us on this journey of prayer tonight, because that's really what prayer is. It's a journey from one place to the other. It takes us all to different places, even if we're singing the same words. And I hope that tonight you'll join us in singing and reading as much as you feel comfortable. But if you need to do something a little different, if you want to listen, then do that too. Listen to yourself and what your needs are in prayer tonight. So with that, we welcome in Shabbat with the singing of Lechu Neranena.
This is from Psalm 95. Lechu Neranena l'Adonai. Go forth singing songs of joy to Adonai. Let us shout to our Savior. What a wonderful way to begin our Shabbat services. You know the melody because we sang it as a nigun. I'm going to start us off, and then please join in. Lechu neranena l'Adonai, naria letzur yishenu. Lechu neranena l'Adonai, naria letzur yishenu. Nekadvad vana bitoda Vizmirot narialo. Nekadvad vana bitoda Vizmirot narialo. Ki el gadol Adonai, umelech gadol al kol Elohim, asher beyado mechkerei aretz v'tochot harialo. Asher beyado mechkerei aretz v'tochot harim lo. Lechu neranena l'Adonai, umelech gadol al kleinu, lekadmav banav v'toda, v'zmirot narialo. Lekadmav banav v'toda, v'zmirot narialo. And now I'm going to invite you to get your Shabbat candles. If you have them, and remember they can be beautiful candlesticks or they can be simple votives. It's totally up to you. And we're going to light our candles together as we sing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. And now, if you will take your Kiddush cup, it can be a beautiful cup decorated such as this, but it can also just be a cup that you get and fill with wine or juice, and you're going to sanctify the juice and the liquid that is inside to bring in our Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'b'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron le'maaseh v'reshit ki hu yom tehila lemikra'ei kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'chata v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodecha be'ahava u'v'ratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. Amen. L'chaim.
L'chaim. An artist cannot be continually wielding a brush. An artist must stop painting at times to refresh his or her vision. Shabbat is the moment when we pause in our brushwork to renew our vision. Having done so, we take ourselves to our painting with clarified vision and renewed energy. For each of us, for all of us, on this Shabbat, let us step back and admire the canvas. We rise together, if you are comfortable and able, for the Baruch, our call to worship.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed Le'olam
lai, 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 ya lai, lai, lai,
lai, ya lai, 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 ya lai, 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 lai.
Adonai, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to your power and wisdom. Day follows day in endless succession, and the years vanish, but your sovereignty endures. Though all things pass, let not your glory depart from us. Help us to become co-workers with you, and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on the evening.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. And you may be seated. Now I invite you to join with me as we chant Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We read together. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land.
Whoops. Oh, I'm sorry. It was my bad.
That the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש. נורא עוסק פלא, נורא עוסק פלא, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ובניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים. זה אלי ענו ואמרו, זה אלי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא דידת עושה נורא עושה פלא, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Amen. Give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. You are true protection and safety. In your presence we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, who spreads the shelter of your peace over us, over your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. It is a sign for all time between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth, and on the 7th day God ceased from work and was refreshed.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, לדורותם ברית עולם.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
ביני ובין בני ישראל עוד היא לעולם לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל עוד היא לעולם לעולם.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, לדורותם
invite you to rise if you are able as we join together in the Amidah. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chastei Avot V'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava. Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol atah Rav Lehoshia. Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem. Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim. Somech Noflim Verofeh Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Memit Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimecha kadosh, U'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. You may be seated.
May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam. Ki atah בכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
We come to the time in our service where we think of those who travel along our life journey with us, friends, loved ones, family, but who cannot stand beside us at this moment because they lie on beds of pain, of illness, of body, mind, or spirit. If you have someone you're thinking of right now in need of healing, take a moment to say their name aloud or in your heart. And for all those names said and unsaid, we sing our prayer of healing, Misha Berach.
A blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We take a moment now for silent prayer.
leratzon imreifi iyu leratzon imreifi ve'yon libi lefanecha iyu leratzon imreifi.
In a distant land and time, a voice comes to Avram, a man who had lived 75 years on this earth. And that voice tells him, leave everything you know behind, the house and home that you've built, the safety that you've found in this place, the certainty you've had your entire life that what you've been doing is the right thing to do. Go to a place you've never been, which I, a complete stranger, will show you. There I, the God you have never met before, will bless you with wealth, offspring, and a powerful reputation. For your end, you will take on strange new rituals. You will live the way I tell you, trusting that I have your best interests at heart, even though you have no real reason to trust me. These are the events that begin our Torah portion this week, Lech Lecha. And God opens this whole dialogue to Avram with those words, Lech Lecha, go for your own sake. Now apparently, this charge was convincing enough for Avram, who we later know as Abraham, to begin his lifelong journey through which he and his wife Sarah become the first Jews. But the path that Abraham's family followed from a place of comfort to the promised place that God would show them did not end with them. Abraham and Sarah's story carries on to this day as the Jewish people continues to work towards being a light to the nations in a world often callous to human needs. I think it is fair to say that most of us find ourselves in a difficult or tense historical moment. We may be experiencing fear or anger or sadness. We may just be tired. But most of all, we may be unsure of what lies ahead. Tonight, I want to look at the values that, in my mind, have defined us as the Jewish people and have guided us along our journey. They are the solid foundation of who we are. Let's begin with the beginning. 2 weeks ago, we read about the creation of the world in Parashat Bereshit. When God creates humankind, we are told that God made the first humans B'Tselem Elohim, in God's image. What does this mean? Being created B'Tselem Elohim most likely refers not to our physical configuration, but to our inner characteristics. For Maimonides, the 12th century Jewish philosopher, we are like God in our ability to think. For Joseph B. Soloveitchik, a great American rabbi of the 20th century, being made in the image of God means possessing creativity and curiosity. My favorite explanation comes from Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, as he explains the Jewish prohibition on idolatry. The reasons that graven images are forbidden, he says, is not that God has no image, but rather because God has just one image, the image of every breathing and living human being. What does this tell us? That we can find God in the face of every person, and therefore all people are worthy of the same dignity and respect that we offer to God. No human is any less human than any other. No human is an insect or an animal or a statistic, nor any of the things some may say to make people different from them seem less human. From this premise, the Mishnah declares that anyone who destroys a single life has destroyed the equivalent of the entire world. Nothing has a higher value in our tradition than each and every human life. Later in the Torah, the terms of the covenant are laid out more extensively, including a system of justice. In Deuteronomy chapter 16, we read, "You shall appoint magistrates and officials for your tribes in all the settlements that Adonai your God is giving you, and they shall govern the people with due justice. You shall not judge unfairly. You shall show no partiality. You shall not take bribes, for bribes blind the eyes of the wise and upset the plea of the just. Tzedek, tzedek tirdof, justice, justice shall you pursue, that you may thrive and occupy the land that Adonai your God is giving you." Alongside the establishment of a court system that treats everyone equally, we are told to pursue tzedek, which means justice or righteousness or fairness. How does this play out when the Israelites settle in the land? Everyone in a community contributes to a common fund from which the poor and hungry are fed. Farmers are supposed to leave the corners of their field untilled and leave whatever drops to the ground while harvesting. These belong to those who need them most, to the vulnerable in society, the poor, the orphan, the widow, or the widower. The Torah here is telling us about a particular kind of justice, one that is so important that the word is repeated twice. When there are people on our streets going to bed hungry and unhoused, we have not pursued justice far enough. Until every single human being has what they need to survive and thrive, we cannot truly call ourselves a light to the nations. That is why the concept of charity is not quite the same as tzedakah. Charity is giving when the heart is moved to do so. Tzedakah is giving to those who need it, because it is our obligation and our purpose to create a fairer world. The last value that I want to talk about is one that I am certain you all know: love your neighbor as yourself, which comes from Leviticus 19 in the middle of the Holiness Code. Now, it sounds simple, but it absolutely is not, which is why Hillel rephrased it as, "What is hateful to you, do not do to your neighbor." It's a little bit different. That, I think, is a rule that most of us can surely follow. It just requires a little bit of empathy. We need to be able to put ourselves in the place of another person, even someone who disagrees with us on almost everything. When we step into someone else's story, we don't have to embrace their point of view. We do need to acknowledge our shared humanity. I believe that on our journey as Jews, we are guided by these ideas, that we are all created in the image of God, that we must relentlessly pursue justice, and that we should live our lives knowing that our covenant with God is also a covenant with other people. Abraham and Sarah took a leap of faith some 3,000 years ago. Today, we can be grateful that they answered the call, Lech Lecha. For the fruits of their journey, our Torah and the wisdom of Jewish tradition can always give us comfort and guidance in troubled times. May we find our way through. May our Jewish values light the way forward. Shabbat Shalom. So we now come to announcements, which is always something you can hang your hat on. I will say there is something happening next week. That is the election day is next Tuesday. It is, yeah. So you can vote on election day. You can drop off a paper ballot. I think you can vote before that too. Engaging in civic society is a mitzvah. There's a story of the Chazon Ish, who's an Eastern European rabbi, who tells a young man that he should sell his tefillin in order to pay the poll tax. Now, ostensibly, we don't have poll taxes today, but the point is, it is a wonderful thing to have your voice heard. In more temple-related things, we have Torah study tomorrow morning. We will be studying this very story, Lech Lecha, the beginning of the journey of the Jewish people. Next Wednesday morning, Coffee and Kavanagh will be moving to Wednesdays at 8:45. We will be live on Facebook and on Zoom. You are free to join us to caffeinate and set some intention for the day. Wednesday night, that is November 4th. Boy, it's November already.
I know.
That is at 8 p.m. We have our 20s and 30s, the Judaism After Dark. This is the first session of it. Why do we call it After Dark? Because it is at night. And we will be spending some time together looking at a little text and enjoying good company. I believe that's all we have in terms of announcements.
I have some.
You have some,
I'd
great.
love to do some announcements.
Go for
First
it.
of all, please don't forget that directly after our service, there is a Zoom Oneg Shabbat, which is really nice, and I encourage you to attend it so that you can talk to others and say hi and bring your own Oneg. Just have cookies and whatever.
BYOO.
That's right.
Yeah.
So tomorrow also I wanted to send a mazel tov to the Flitman family because Madeline Flitman will be becoming bat mitzvah here in our sanctuary. And I want to say congratulations, mazel tov, and we wish you all the best. It'll be a joyous occasion. And one last announcement. Saturday night, turn your clocks back. We get an hour of sleep, an extra sleep. So is it daylight savings time? Or
It's daylight savings time.
So at 2 a.m. on Sunday morning, the clocks will go back an hour, so please don't forget. Now, I invite you all to rise, if you're able, as we begin to close our service with Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'tein gedula li'yotzer breshit, shelo asanu כגויי הארצות, ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
We are seated. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. As we come to the mourner's Kaddish, we think of those who have died, those people who have brought us this far on our journeys. This time our community remembers those who have been recently laid to rest. Michael Schiff, Barbara Schertzer-Brown, Marshall Levinson, Bill Fleece, and Michael Eckelman. We also remember those whose yahrzeits are commemorated on this Shabbat, those who the anniversary of their death is observed tonight. Lena Adler, Barney Anton, Sonia Beckenstein, Joanne Bernholtz, Martin Block, Irma Braverman, Janice Levy-Brenner, Harry Brevda, Isidore Brynan, Isidore Broder, Irving Carr, Sylvia Cohen, Jeanette Davis, Lillian Telutki Devereaux, Leonard DiSavino, Edith Dolgan, Dorothea Dubler, Lawrence Farkas, Lottie Finkelstein, Bobby Firestone, Murray Franklin, Shirley Fishman Fruchtman, Gerald Goller, Alvin Harvey Goldman, Rose Gomberg, Reuben Morris Hanan, David Heller, Lester Les Hirsch, Sarah Frank Israelson, Bob Jacobson, John Thomas Shajak, Bernie Cantor, Ira Kurtz, Harry Lasday, Elaine Levinson, Lauren W. Long, Maud Bear Maas, Ida Markman, Kurt Maurer, Nancy Weinberg Mays, Helen Curson Morrison, Rebecca Harris Morse, Helen Steinhardt Moses, Jack Moskowitz, Jean Moss, Dolores Knapp, Louis Post, Esther M. Reback, Frank Edward Ryson, Beatrice Reif, David Resnick, Samuel Rose, Leon Roth, Celia H. Shine, John Schmitz, Jeanette Schwartz, Barry Shapiro, Doris Weisselberg Shine, Mary Sirota, Stuart Snyder, Sandra Tarnowski, Ethel Udell, Arlene L. Weil, John J. Wisdow, Harold Witkoff, and Mildred Weinberg Wolf. And to those names, we add the names of those victims of hate and violence as we commemorate the second anniversary of the shooting at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh. To our list of people we are remembering, we add Joyce Feinberg, Richard Gottfried, Rose Mallinger, Jerry Rabinowitz, Cecil Rosenthal, David Rosenthal, Bernice Simon, Sylvan Simon, Daniel Stein, Melvin Wax, and Irving Younger. To all of those names, we add the names of your loved ones. So with those names in our hearts said and unsaid, we rise together as a community for the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divarach chiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehe shemei Rabbah mevorach leolam ulalmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei dekudesha brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And we say together, Amen.
And our closing song tonight is Ein Keloheinu. I invite you to join along. Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Mi Eloheinu, Mi Adonenu, Mi Kemalkeinu, Mi Kemoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel
Nolad Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adoneinu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adoneinu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu.
And since I expect that you're probably going to have a little snack or something before too long, we're going to say our motzi so that those joining in the oneg can enjoy their treat. So please hold up a piece of pretend challah or whatever, and we're going to say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. B'tei avon. Is whatever a Jewish word, or ever? Do you think that fits in with all of?
Ever?
I don't know, or whatever. Shabbat shalom.
Whatever. Shabbat shalom.